All right. Before you say anything, this music sounds like it's Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare. With that, we've got George Hoose.
What an introduction. Welcome to my nightmare.
Oh, I was kind of thinking almost like Breaking Bad there, guys.
Could go there too. You gonna shave your head for us?
You know something? For a couple new clients, I'll shave my head right now.
All right. Well, let's give an introduction to George because none of our people probably know who he is.
Well, first off, this is No Like and Trust Thursday. This is another episode of your favorite guys introducing somebody local here in the Medina County type area, trying to show people who we know, like, and trust through our networking that we want to be able to refer. And George Hoose is a
and we couldn't find anybody, is what you're saying, so we brought him on?
So we brought George on, yeah. So George is with Edward Jones, and he is a financial advisor. And let's just cut right to the chase. George, how do we get rich as quickly as possible?
So yeah, how do you get rich as quickly as possible? You
Legally.
You hope you have rich relatives that pass away, and you get a letter from some lawyer saying, "Hey, Blaise and Frank, great news! Uncle Romeo passed away, and there's $5 million sitting here for you." How do most people get rich? Most people get rich by having a systematic investment plan in place.
Okay, so our chances of inheriting a ton of money are very slim.
I don't know. I get those emails all the time.
Do you, from Ethiopia or something?
Yeah.
If you just send them $5,000 in 2 months, you'll have $5 million.
Right. So what you're saying, they have to have a systematic plan? Is that? Say that one more time, George.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is most people have some type of a systematic contribution in place. Let's call it a 401k or a retirement plan through work, to where they're systematically putting money in and they're saving over time. They're reinvesting their dividends as well as any interest. And then the magic of compound interest kicks in. And over time, small amounts of money become large amounts of money.
Okay, so basically starting early is better than starting late.
So the sooner you start, the less painful it is when you get close to retirement. And what I mean by that is this. I work with people, or I've had people show up in my office with all their paperwork, and they're 64 years old and they just retired, and they said, "Hey, I just retired. How does my retirement look?" And I tell them that they have to go get another job because they haven't saved enough money. And so it's really painful for people who don't start planning early. But when you plan early, as you get closer to retirement, and if you're meeting with your advisor regularly, then you can make minor adjustments along the way. So think of those adjustments as dials, not switches. Switches you turn on and off.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think is the biggest holdback from people wanting to, like, it doesn't cost me a dime to come see you and talk to you, does
Exactly. It doesn't cost a nickel to come and talk and have a conversation.
So what do you think is the biggest holdback of people coming and having that conversation?
I think the biggest holdback is people have a fear of, I haven't saved enough, I don't have a plan in place, and I'm embarrassed to sit down and talk to somebody because I don't know what I don't know. So recognize
I think you're exactly right. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think your title is kind of intimidating, financial advisor. There's so many things that can be pulled into that. And I don't think people know exactly what it is that you do. And there are several, there's quite a few financial advisors out there. I've met many, and there's some of them that I don't know if I would even trust with my money. You're not one of them. I mean, look, you got a baby grand piano behind you and the fireplace. Obviously, you're doing well, George.
No checkered sports coat.
Okay, sorry, Blaise, didn't mean to cut you off.
Give us your definition of what a financial advisor does for their clients.
So what a good financial does for their client is, number one, they understand what's important to them and what their priorities are. First step. So you want to be a fiduciary, meaning you're always going to put your client's best interest in front of your interests. Number two, you gather facts and data. Facts and data are, hey, how much money do you make? How much money are you spending? Have you saved any assets towards retirement at this point in time? If you have, Let's understand how they're invested. And then let's talk about what does retirement look like and what do you want your retirement to look like? Because some people just want to get to the finish line and stop working. Some people want to travel the world. Some people want a second home. But it's really about building a relationship with people, understanding what they want to accomplish, and then leveraging all of the tools that are available to put a strategy in place. Discuss that with the client, help them understand what their role is versus what the financial advisor's role is. Because honestly, my role is to develop the plan and educate and then help people course adjust along the way and educate them. And ultimately, probably one of the biggest roles I have is taking the emotion of money out of the situation for clients. Because when the markets are going gangbusters in a northerly direction, meaning making a lot of money, everybody wants to invest a lot of money. Probably not the best time to be throwing your money into the market. But the minute the market takes a downturn, people call and they want to go all the cash or they want to sell. Again, not a really good time to be selling off your investments. That's actually the best time to be putting money into the market. So managing people's emotions.
Okay.
So that actually answers one of my questions, right? It was, you always hear that saying, buy low, sell high. And I was going to ask you, how do you implement that strategy? And you kind of just answered it, but backwards is, you don't panic when things are bad. You actually go into the market. And then when things are high, I would almost be willing to bet when things are really, really good, your phone probably doesn't ring all that often. But when we have an event in the world that is bad, I bet your phone rings off the hook. Am I correct?
So you are spot on with that. And last year, so let's go back to last May or June when the Fed's raising interest rates 3/4 of a point, 0.75 at a time. And one of the more senior advisors here in Medina made this statement about being a financial advisor. He goes, there's two kinds of years when you're a financial advisor. There's good years and there's learning years. Oh, okay. So what does that mean? Well, what you do, you learn a lot about your clients when the market is going down, especially when it's going down rapidly. So what do you learn about your clients? Well, what you learn is when the markets are going up, they have no risk aversion whatsoever. The minute they start losing money, they have the highest aversion to risk in the world, and they want to go to the safe ground as quick as possible. So that's what a learn year is.
Okay. So when we're talking about financial advising, normally what enters my mind is retirement, but it's not always retirement that you're saving for, right? I mean, what are some other things people need to be strategic about?
Okay, so I work with people that are looking to save for education for their children and or grandchildren. I work with people who are looking to save for that once in a lifetime trip or a series of once in a lifetime trips in retirement, that second home, or basically people that have a lot of never money. What do I mean by never money? It's money they're never going to spend. And it's money that they want to transfer to their children and or grandchildren. I help them with developing a tax-efficient transfer strategy, which is basically through insurance, because money that transfers through insurance is non-taxable. So who buys the most life insurance? Rich people, because it's a wealth transfer strategy.
Right. So you're protecting those inheritances.
Exactly.
For them.
Exactly.
Yeah. I assume that your plans are not cookie cutter either, because if I'm 26 and I come to you versus 56, it's going to be totally different plans.
Exactly. So again, it's gather the facts, understand what people are trying to accomplish. I will use this analogy. When I build financial plans for people, they may all have the same goal of retirement. We'll just use retirement, but it's like playing chess. Okay. And if you ever played chess before, you could play 1,000 games of chess and none of them are going to be exactly the same. The mission's the same. You can move all the players the same way, but you move your pieces differently. I have a lot of tools in my toolbox. I have a lot of great trusted product partners that I work with that have great products. And it's up to me, once I know what somebody's trying to accomplish, to make sure I pull the right tool out to accomplish the job.
Well, let me ask you something. When you're talking about when the market's dropping, that's a good time to be investing. Is there, at that point there, how do you decide which companies are going to survive a market crash or a market drop?
Okay. So the firm Edward Jones has been in business over 100 years. We have over 7 million clients. We manage over $2 trillion. We have 50,000 employees. 20,000 of those employees are financial advisors. 60% of our workforce is analysts, is investment policy committee, is support here in the office, meaning an office manager. But let's go back to our analysts. We have over 1,000 analysts on staff that are going through and they're researching products, they're researching companies, they're interviewing leadership teams from, I'll just use Coca-Cola as an example. They're sitting down and talking to their leadership to understand what their strategy is. And then they go through and they do all of the heavy lifting and all of the vetting. Okay. Once they've made their decision, they push that information up to our investment policy committee. Our investment policy committee then goes through and rates investments. And I'm just going to use individual equities as buy, hold, sell, or we may not have an opinion on it. If we don't have an opinion, we're not researching them. With our mutual funds, the rating is tier 1, 2, or they're not rated. So the firm builds out all of the tools that advisors can use to make sure that we're selecting the best of the best investment opportunities for our clients based on what they're trying to accomplish.
Okay. So you don't have to sit there yourself and individually look at what's going on. You've got people that are supplying you with that data.
Exactly. I have the tools, I have the dashboards that I need, because really my job is building relationships, communicating to my clients, and making sure that we keep their plans on track.
All right. Awesome.
George, I often hear people say, it's not necessarily about what you make, it's about what you keep. You discuss some tax strategies through life insurance. Do you also partner with CPAs or anybody to create tax strategies that are going to keep those dollars within your family or whatever it may be? What are some strategies that you could, or some tips that you could give now that keeps that money in your pocket versus it going towards taxes?
Yeah. So first off, yes, I do partner with a handful of CPAs. I have a couple of elder care attorneys that I work with. But, it's really about understanding, I'm going to say what type of program money a client has coming in. Program money could be a pension. Program money could be Social Security. And then how have they saved their money? Do they have pre-tax money that when we start drawing that down, there's going to be tax implications? Do they have after-tax money? Do they have different buckets that we can start drawing out of? Because you have to understand tax brackets as well. Now I have to give this qualifier. I'm not an accountant and I'm not an attorney. Okay. Sure. I know enough about taxes to understand 50,000 plus another 50,000 might move Blaise or Frank up into a tax bracket that they don't want to be in. So if they have multiple buckets for me to start pulling money down out of, then I can find ways to help them stay in a tax bracket if at all possible. If my client's already working with a CPA, then we can meet either in person or we can meet virtually to talk about all of the different nuances of said client's situation. So we're doing the right thing, because you're spot on. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep.
Right.
All right. So, I had other questions here, but within your answers for other questions, you seem to have answered them. So let's just call it. We're at 15 minutes. It's not about what you make, it's about what you keep. And by reaching out to George Hoose with Edward Jones, right here in Medina, that would be a great step in the right direction to set yourself up for financial success. It's not necessarily a get-rich-quick type situation, but it's a strategy that will get you there over time. And there's nobody here in Medina that I think is better for that than George.
Hey, did you want to mention an event going on next Thursday?
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm participating in an event next Thursday up at Story Point up here on Route 18, and it really is geared towards people heading into retirement or in retirement that might be thinking about downsizing. So moving is a monumental task. So next Thursday, May 4th, I believe it's from 10:30 to 1:30. There's going to be a series of speakers. I'm actually going to be there. Frank is going to be there. We have an elder care attorney. We have someone who assists folks with senior care placement into assisted living. And then we have a gal who basically owns this transition business that helps people plan for moving, because we all know how much fun it is to pack 300 boxes worth of stuff that you've accumulated over the last 30 years in your life. So that'll be May 4th from 10:30 to 1:30. If people are interested in it, I'm basically going to say, call my office. My office manager has the information. She can sign you up. You can find me online. Just look up George Hoose, Edward Jones, and you'll land on my webpage.
Most importantly, let's get right to the point. There's a free lunch there as well.
There is free lunch.
There is a free lunch there. There's
we got all these experts, but we got food. So being at this
free
event,
food, the best kind of food.
Well, I'm just going there to meet a nice single widow, work on my retirement plan.
Because Frank's looking for the get rich scheme.
So there is a get rich scheme that actually works, and he is.
There you go.
All right, George. Thanks for joining us, and we'll do this again soon.
Have a good day, guys, and another great Know, Like, and Trust.